Dizzy Rascal, Bonkers, brilliant.
It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show. It's the Andy Snowden Radio Show.
Yes, indeed, it is I, Andy Snowden, with music from stage and screen and anything you might have seen on your television box. And I gotta tell you, it is great to be back live in the studio. There's no feeling like it, I gotta be honest with you. Right, it's time for our very first guest of the day, and it comes in the form of the singer-songwriter hailing from Blackpool, Mr. Rob Bridge, with a brand new track, True Romance, out this week. And I'm thrilled to say that he joins me now. And Rob, the brand new single, I got to tell you, it's awesome, man. But as a singer-songwriter, not the easiest job in the world. And I want to pick your brains first. Where did it all start for you then?
Oh, thank you for that. Well, yeah, I've had an interesting career. When I was a kid, I was playing music like everybody, I suppose. You learn to play guitar, and then you're listening to music. In my case, it was early rock and roll and things like The Shadows, and that got me into playing the guitar because I just loved the guitar sound. And then on a trip one time, I heard the Beatles singing Twist and Shout because my friend had it on a cassette. And the very minute I heard Twist and Shout, that was it. I knew then. I thought, right, okay, that made sense of everything that I'd been thinking, that I'd been wanting to do. And that was my introduction to the Beatles. And so that was it. I had to be in a band. And pretty much, I've never looked back. I was 13 years old when I started my first band, and carried on ever since. I mean, once you get past 30, it was the old thinking was that, once you're past 30, if you didn't have a deal and you weren't a success, then your career was finished. And I suppose at that time, that was pretty accurate. I did carry on playing music, carried on with the bands, carried on touring, wound up becoming a pilot, flying jets, and then I was just flying other bands that were on tour, playing music. But all the time, I was writing, recording, playing gigs with cover bands. I never stopped. And now we're there with the album, single coming out on the 25th, and yeah, it's all looking good.
Well, I can't let you just throw that away that you're a pilot, but hang on a minute, I'll come back to that in a second, because because when you say about the influence of the Beatles, I can remember when I was a kid, and the first time I saw Status Quo,
yes,
it had a sort of profound impact on me, more than any other band or anything like that. And I think whether you turn into a musician or not, music has that power to just itch you where you live, and it can I think it's something that sticks with you forever, really.
You're absolutely spot on with that. And Status Quo were a great band live, weren't they? Brilliant. So you go and see, when you first see a band that you like live, it stays with you, doesn't it? Real songs, and I like rock music. I always have liked it. Deep Purple and the first single record I ever bought was Since You've Been Gone by Rainbow. So I love that kind of music. I always did. So yeah, definitely rock and roll still rules, man.
Yeah, definitely. And are you always kind of writing? Do you have you can do it on your mobile phone now, of course, but are you have a pad in your back pocket all the time, writing things down?
No, I use the note feature on my phone, and I've downloaded this music memo app, which is quite handy, because if I've got my guitar out and I come up with something decent, if I leave it, I'll forget it. I am always kind of writing. You watch a film, or I hear something on the radio and somebody will say something, awesome. Just a great line, something every now and again will catch my attention. But I'm rubbish when I come to write songs, because I'll get the idea quite quickly, but then it takes me ages to develop it, to find the words. I can usually get the chords and the melody.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a few of the words, which is always useful, because you can always write in front of those words and behind those words. I can find changes, choruses, middle eights, etc. and passages in the songs. I kind of get them all together, but it does take me an awful long time to get them down, most of them. Sometimes it's 10 minutes. Usually it's more like 10 weeks. It's just depressing, right? It's depressing. But yeah, I try not to ask people's opinions too much, because it clouds what I want to do. And it's all right asking people's opinions on the song if they say what you want them to hear, what you want to hear, but if they say what you don't want to hear, then you've got to just disregard it.
Yeah, exactly. You can, depending on who you ask, you can get a false positive or a false negative.
Absolutely, absolutely. Best not to ask. Just go in with authority and say, this is it, this is the words, this is the key, and this is the tempo, let's go.
Yeah.
And everyone says, it'd be better slower, and you're like, well, yeah, all right, let's do it slower then, so it's this key, this tempo.
Yeah. But do you like to write the words first, or the melody first, or does it matter? Is it different every time?
It's nearly always melody first, but melody with some words. Like Bono does a similar kind of thing. He just rambles nonsense words So it's syllables and phrasing to get the phrasing for the lines that he wants to sing. And I do a similar kind of thing. I'll sit there with a guitar and I get a tune in my head, just put any old rubbish down to, like the famous Paul McCartney thing with Yesterday. He entitled that Scrambled Eggs. He had the chords and the tune, but he didn't have the words. So instead of Yesterday, it was Scrambled Eggs, da, 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 da. And it's just any kind of nonsense word just to fill in the line and to give you the idea for the overall tune.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on it a little bit there. You learned to fly in the 1990s. That's quite interesting. How did that come about? You don't just fall into that, surely.
Well, no, not really. I mean, when I was a kid, interests were exactly the same as they are now. Motorcycles, aircraft, guitars. But in the 90s, I attended one of these charity parachute jump things with a girlfriend I was with, and she did the jump. And I was talking to the pilot, the aircraft pilot, when they landed, and he knew me from he'd been to see some of our gigs, and I just got chatting to him. And I said, "Oh, it's great. When I was a kid, I was in the cadets, and I flew at Woodvale and the Chipmunks and this and that and the other. I always wanted to be in the RAF, but I'm too dumb. Where did you learn to fly?" He said, "Blackpool." I was like, "Get away! You learned to fly at Blackpool?" Went, "Yeah, we've got flying schools." So got up onto Blackpool and barreled in, booked a lesson, and never stopped. You just sort of wheel in, you do this license, then that license, then this exam, and then that license, and blah, blah, blah. And then pretty soon you're so far into the training and progression that you can't go back, otherwise you've thrown away all that money.
Yeah.
So I just went in. Yeah, I became a flying instructor. I was flying regional airlines out of Blackpool to the Isle of Man, Belfast and whatever. Then onto turboprops and then onto jets. Unfortunately, straight into a chartered jet company that were flying lots of football teams and pop stars and movie people around Europe and whatever. And just managed to get established in that, and I've been doing that for a while.
Are you still doing it now?
No, I'm not doing it now. The last contract I had ended in January, and where you would expect in corporate jet world to be out of work for a couple of months, it happens. And I would have been expecting to pick up another job, but with Brexit first slowing the acquisition of new jets down, followed by COVID, where guys weren't flying around so much, and so the industry's like somebody just took the wheels off the industry and everybody's just sat there. And I don't think I'll ever see the inside of a cockpit again. I might do, but let's hope the signal does all right and I don't have to.
Yes, absolutely. You can be the next Bruce Dickinson.
That'll do it. Yeah, Bruce is a good guy, yeah.
Yeah, but my dad was a flying instructor.
Oh, yeah.
Taught my brother to fly. And I can remember my brother must have been about 17, and he came home one day and he said, "I went solo today," and it stuck with me that I never learned to fly. He learned to fly, and I often wonder what it's like the first time you're up there without an instructor sat next to you giving you all the tips and what that is. That like the worst laxative known to man, or?
No, it's absolutely brilliant, and it's something that you really look forward to. When it happened to me, it happened to 7 hours flight instructor, and I wasn't expecting it. I came back after a little lesson, and the instructor got out and said, "Okay, on you go and do a circuit. I'll see you back here in a few minutes." Yeah. And I couldn't wait to go. I was dying to go. It's a bit like when you pass your driving test, and you get your car and you're out in it the first time on your own. Yeah. Obviously, it's a little bit more critical up there because if you make a mistake, it could be quite catastrophic. But yeah. No, it was. I loved it. I loved it. I remember now I made a great landing as well, which was not common for me at that time. They've got a lot better since. But I wasn't brilliant at that. But he must have thought I was all right. He must have thought I wasn't going to break the plane, or he wouldn't have let me go. Yeah. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. So tell me, why didn't you learn to fly if your dad was a flying instructor?
Well, part of me wishes I had, but I mean, was you in like the ATC or the Army Cadets?
Yes, I was in the ATC when I was a kid, yeah.
I was in the ATC.
Yeah, training corps, yeah.
And it wasn't sitting right with me, any of it, really. My dad was the CO.
The CO, yeah. Commanding officer,
yeah. And so it was a kind of a thing where we had to go, and then one day he just went, your heart's not in this. My eldest brother loved it. My middle brother. You were rebelling, Andy. You were rebelling. Exactly. Yeah. But now I wish I'd have done it because there's just something about it it's just something I wish I'd have done. But I didn't learn to drive until I was 30. So.
Well, okay, I don't know, what is that? That wasn't rebellious. Was that just lazy, or just like to drink too much, or what?
Well, a little bit of that, but we lived in London. We lived in London from the age of 20 until.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And there was no need, you know. We had
no, you don't need to drive in London, do you?
No. Yeah, but as you say,
Good.
you flew around with some of the biggest names in rock music as cargo. Is that?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
and I enjoyed every minute of it. Flew with some really nice people, flew on some decent tours, you know, all over Europe and Russia and whatever, you know. But we always loved the tours, and it was nice being around the bands, you know.
Absolutely, and I suppose you've got many stories of wild parties at 30,000 feet, which you're going to indulge to us.
Yeah, loads, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, the single's great. No, a bit like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that.
Very good. Yeah. There you go, like a good doctor. Yeah, keep it to
absolutely.
yourself. Absolutely, yeah. No, I read somewhere that your new album, you got the idea for it while you were on tour yourself in America, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It was. Well, the thing is, it's not an album that's themed on anything in particular, because I already had a couple of songs. But what really triggered it up was we were doing a festival over in Louisville, and I met a guy over there who's become a really good friend of mine. He's a guy called John Lennon. He's a Grammy-winning mixer, producer, engineer, based out of Nashville. Lovely guy, and we just got on great, really great. When I was planning to do these recordings, I said to the band who were my friends, you know, we were going to get to mix this down. I said, why don't we use JR? So I thought, I'll try it. Spoke with JR, and he listened to a couple of tracks and went, yes, great, we can definitely do something with this. So that immediately boosted my confidence. I said, okay, well, I've got these others as well. And around about that point, I imagined JR's going, oh God, what have I done now? I've opened the door, the genie's out now. Anyway, I sent him all the tracks I had. He came back to me after listening to him for a couple of days, and he was like, you know what, we can definitely do something with this. And we started discussing what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. And that led to, you know, the start of recording the album. After that, I was writing other songs, and they've all just slotted in. But I got a lot of inspiration over there in America, because we were playing these festivals. After each festival, we'd go on a bit of a road trip. So wherever we were, we'd have a drive out. And if we're in Kentucky, we thought, well, where can we go? Nashville? Yes. Memphis? Absolutely. Let's try New Orleans. So we wound up kind of doing the old blues trail, and we were lucky. We got to play in some great clubs. We met some fantastic people, saw some ace bands. We were even at the funeral wake for B.B. King, because we happened to be in Memphis the day that they were burying him.
Wow.
We met his band. We spent the night with his band in the B.B. King club in Beale Street, and we were there till 4 a.m. hanging out with the guys. It was just, you think, how did some loonies from Preston get involved with all of this?
I know.
It's just being in the right place at the right time and having a good time. But all of that rubs off, and you think, forget the fact I'm in my 50s. People say you can't do this, you can't do that. I've never believed in that. People said when I was a kid I couldn't be a pilot. I proved them all wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
And the music industry now, you can record songs quite cheaply. We've got better recording equipment now in my bedroom than the Beatles had in Abbey Road.
Yeah.
You know, so if you use your head, write good songs, why not? And then the way to release songs, now anybody can do it, can't there? Was it 25,000 songs a week or something get uploaded up to Spotify?
Yeah.
People can do that. You know, you can do that. So anybody that's, you know, at home, maybe listening to this, you know, get your old Stratocaster out of the attic, plug the amp in, clear the garage, get the kit out, and crash around, you know, make some songs, make some music.
Yeah, definitely.
Can never be enough new music, ever.
And your debut single off this album, True Romance, do you know which one's going to be released as a single at the time, or do you have to sort of like have a big meeting about it?
Well, I kind of resisted that as the first single, and the response to it was very strong when people were hearing it. And it's different from the other songs on the album, but they're all in the same kind of vein. You know, this is all Spanish guitar, and it's got a very strong narrative, as most of my songs on the album have. They've got little stories, you know, kind of country rock songs. They're country, but they're not country, because I don't sing like about dirt roads, cold beer, big truck. You know, that's not my style. But the music and the vibe is very much country rock, or Americana as they call it nowadays. And when we were choosing which was the single, I resisted it. I didn't really want that to be the single, but your various PR bods and management said, this is a great song for exposure. being a bit of a tart about it all. So yeah, we'll go on then.
Yeah.
whatever's gonna work, do it.
Yes,
so, yeah.
absolutely.
Here we are with True Romance.
And it's a cracker, but that's out on the 25th, and hopefully that this time next year you'll be touring it.
Absolutely, that's the goal. That's what I'd really like. I mean, that was the whole thing. The band I've got with me, the guys that I've been playing with for years, and we all love the songs. They've all done an excellent job. They've done a great job creating their parts and making the songs what they are. And they're all heavily invested in it, with their time, their energy, and the talent. It's all in there. So these are the bands that I want to use. We want to get out, we want to gig it, and we'll be very excited to do that. So hopefully the single will do okay. It's on pre-order, as you say, now, with the release on the 25th of September. So not too long to go. Fantastic.
Rob, it's been a privilege to speak to you, my friend. Thanks ever so much for that. And before you go, do you want to introduce your new single?
Okay, well, here's a song about outlaw lovers and a couple on the run. It's a song called True Romance.
No darkest night could ever hide us, or break us like when dawn has come. Just two shadows on the wall that fall together with the setting sun. I do believe we found the answer. Everybody's got it wrong. Doesn't matter what the truth is, where we lie, how we belong. When the last bottle falls, the last dance is called. We'll leave the night in the mirror, and if they catch us down the line, make it last until that time. Just gotta keep it together. And if at last the hammer falls, the fallen angels call, like a clapping of thunder. We have it all, so hold on tight. We can make it out alright. It's close, that's better than never. So ride this night together, lightning outlaw lovers on the run. Desperados always knowing the future's never set in stone. I do believe we are survivors, no doubt about this time, I know it's real. A leap of faith no longer needed. I want you, I always will. We'll be together just because it's either them or us. Just leave regret on the table, roll the dice and take our chance. For one true romance can never be a hope of surrender. And if I had the hammer fall, I heard those angels call, like a clapping of thunder. We had the cards and took our chance, bet it all on true romance, knowing that our hearts were forever. But when the devil came calling, I knew I'd seen him before. My mind was screaming, believing I could not find the door. I
absolutely stunning True Romance from Rob Bridge. Absolutely beautiful, that, ain't it? Released at the end of this week, and it is available, as he says, to you can pre-order it now, and that is Rob Bridge. The album is out next year, and he's got a brand new fan in me. That's superb. That's superb.
Your community, your music. Calon FM.